So I am presenting this talk on actionable dreams. So I don't know if you know about it. This is the term I coined this morning. Uh, when we are in meetings, we always talk about at the end of the meetings that what are the actionable items of the meeting. That if we get out of the meeting right now, who has to do what is the smallest step that we can take to execute so that we want to execute something bigger. For example, when the organizing committee might have come up with the idea of TEDxJUIT. The first day when they came up with the idea, when they were meeting, the first actionable item for them was to get a license. Then the second must have been to come up with a list of speakers that they can contact and then probably contact. So actionable dreams is something that how can you convert your dreams into actions and achieve them. So before I begin with the presentation, I want all of you to just think of that one dream that you always had, be it when you were a teenager or when you were in school or when you were a kid. Maybe it could have been a very small dream, like starting up something, writing a novel, writing a book, or something bigger. So I just want you to think of that, and then maybe later we'll deal with that. So whenever we think of doing something, so for example, when I thought in college that say I have to start a company or I have to go against conventions, or while I was doing my Directi job, which offers as much as Google in India, that you have to leave that job for the amount of package that they are giving and start your own company. So whenever you want to do something different from the convention, there are 4 things that usually happen. First of all, excuses start coming in your mind that, oh my God, this is something that I cannot do. You always have that intermittent fear inside yourself that maybe I'm not able to do this thing. If you want to ask a girl out for coffee, the thing that first comes in your mind is that probably she's out of your league and you are never able to do that. So the fear, whenever you think of that dream, within 2 minutes, your brain will come up with 10 excuses of why you cannot do those. Be it starting a company, starting a blog, excuses like maybe it's too early. What if it doesn't take off? What if it's not as good as the other blogs out there? When I was starting a real estate site, I got criticisms from even my friends that why are you starting a real estate website when five other portals already exist? When you're starting a blog, the questions that come to your mind are, there are thousands of other blogs. Why will someone read your blog? So these are the thoughts that probably come into your mind. Whatever you want to do that is out of convention. Convention meaning just get a degree, get a job, get married, have kids, blah, blah, blah. So anything apart from that you want to do, your mind will come up with excuses, and these are the 4 things that will happen. So I'll start about my teenage dreams. I'm a big Shah Rukh Khan fan, and I always wanted to meet Shah Rukh Khan when I was a kid. So I mean, just a quick show of hands, how many of you are Shah Rukh Khan fans? I expect a little more. I think you guys have converted into Salman Khan fans now. So I was a big fan of Harry Potter, and I always wanted to meet J.K. Rowling and Shah Rukh Khan. Then when I was a kid, I used to see these websites, I used to see these people making lakhs of money through their blogs and stuff like that. While I was in college, I always wanted to do that. And as a student, while I was in 6th, 7th standard, we all used to hear about Google and how Google programmers are the best and how they only hire the best people. I always wanted to work with Google. Then there are last 2 things: start a company, write a novel, and change the way education is being imparted in the country. So these are the dreams I think every one of us might have at some point. We want to meet some celebrity, we want to start something of our own, we want to write a novel, we want to write a book. What is the difference? What is the difference between people who make it happen and the people who don't? What is the difference between the people who go out to do all these things, to go out to achieve all these dreams? I'm not saying I have done all of them. I'm just saying what is the one difference that maybe say some entrepreneur like Bhavesh Agarwal or Ola Cabs or the Flipkart guys or someone, they have than you. They are also engineers. They are like, they probably also got a job, but they did something else. So I think the difference is that actionable item. If I have a dream, what is the next thing that I can do? And then when you start to do it, the first thing that happens is that you fail. So I want to tell one interesting story. So when I was in 11th standard, like all of you, my parents wanted to get me into IIT, and I was also excited that I'll study hard for 2 years and probably I'll crack some IIT and stuff like that. But so I went to these coaching centers, and they conducted a test for their 2 top batches. There was a test for the coaching center who will train you to get into IIT. And guess what happened? I failed that. I couldn't get into the coaching center which teaches you to get to an institution like IIT. So, I mean, I was literally laughing out that day that, I mean, like, nothing can be as ironical as this. So this is one failure. Then the company I started, Flat.to, actually it took 2 attempts to take it to the level where it is. And if you don't know what level it is, I'll just come back to it. I started Flat.to in college, and the first time I started it, it failed. I also started an educational venture called Unacademy in college. It has been 4 years. For the first 2 years, it was absolutely dead. Nothing was happening. And then I got my first Google AdSense account when I was in 10th standard, and there were so many blogs that I started. I mean, even if you, I used to do all sort of random stuff. Even if you go to Google today and write Priyanka Chopra blog, the first blog is something that I started 4 years back. So funny stuff like that. But most of the blogs didn't ever take off. And then currently also I'm experimenting with a lot of YouTube entertainment channels, but most of them are not doing as well as they should be. So the point I want to tell about is this, that failure is the only way you will succeed. Life is filled with lots of failures and then some moments of success in between. The only thing is that if you think that if you try and you will fail, then you have got it wrong. I want you to try and fail, because that's the only way you'll learn and that's the only way you'll progress. So even if it is like small thing, I want you to try and fail. So, and obviously the thing I'm talking about, when you fail first time, you have to keep doing it until you reach a level where you can say that I have done something. So coming back to my teenage dreams, that sounds like a song of Katy Perry, but whatever. So SRK and JK Rowling. I couldn't meet JK Rowling, but I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Shah Rukh Khan, and I actually had a 3-4 minute long conversation with him, and this was back in KBC when Shah Rukh Khan had gone to Amitabh Bachchan's show, and I got a chance to shake hands with them and stuff like that. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I was living in Bombay for 5 years, and there were so many days I used to go out at his house. This might sound crazy, but well, you know, I was a crazy Shah Rukh Khan fan. And then suddenly one day, I get so lucky that I got to meet him, I got to have a conversation with him. So this is, I remember the date, 7th October 2011, and this is one of the most interesting days, and I got the chance to meet him, and it was a hell lot of fun, and he is better than Salman Khan, for all the fans out there. So the other thing was that as I said, the other dream I had was that you need to start a blog that makes money. So as I already told you that I had a lot of blogs, and most of them, like 95% of them, wouldn't make a lot of money. But that doesn't mean you give up, right? That doesn't mean. The thing is that failure coupled with persistence is how you will succeed. You need to take small steps. You need to take small actionable items towards your dream to make it happen. But I wanted to show you about the blog that I started in college. It was called Fashionama, and it's India's one of the top fashion blogs with around 1.1 million fans on Facebook, and over the subscriber base, over 1 million. So this was the blog I started in college, and at one point in college, I was making around $4,000 through the blog. So it used to pay for all the gadgets that you want to buy in college, or all the girls you want to take out in college. So you never have to ask money from your parents. So it's called Fashionama. Then the next dream was that work as a programmer with Google. I don't know how many of you know, but Directi as a product company in India is as big as Facebook, Google, and stuff like that. Be it their packages, be it the kind of work, be it the kind of culture. It is India's biggest startup so far, and they are into all sort of things like machine learning and artificial intelligence and stuff like that. And they have their own advertising network also. So I didn't apply for Google because I got selected for an internship with Directi. And what it took to get there was this. Uh, First of all, I know whoever computer engineers are sitting here, you use probably Turbo C++ to code. Let me tell you, Turbo C++ is a 24-year-old compiler. When you go out to do an internship or you go out to do in the market, nobody values Turbo C++. So you have to get out of it and learn more big stuff. Then to get into a company like Google or Amazon or Facebook or even Directi, what you need is you need to do at least for 1 year programming for at least 3 to 4 hours a day. And 2 to 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, and you have to give up on a lot of distractions. Then you have to get into a lot of programming contests like ACM, ICPC, Top Coder, Code Chef. And when you apply to these companies, they take at least 5 to 6 rounds of interviews. So that was Directi for me. I got that job just out of college, and it was an awesome experience. I think they are probably hiring, so you should also apply. And CodeChef is their platform where you can practice coding. So this is what is required if you want to achieve something like that. But let me tell you one thing. 1 year before I was in Directi, or 2 years before that, when I actually decided that I want to go into something like this, that I want to follow up on my dream, and I did my first program and submitted on a programming contest, I was like the last ranker there. Because that happens. The first time when you do it, if you're not failing, then you're doing something wrong. So you have to, you kind of have to try and fail the very first time. So all the computer engineers out there, I recommend you to do all these things. Then the next was change the way education is being imparted. So when I was in college, I knew certain subjects better than the rest of my batchmates. So it was computer graphics and certain like that. But also the thing was that I was always, I never attended lectures in college, by the way, or in school I attended because that was kind of compulsory, but I never used to go to lectures in college. That doesn't mean I'm asking you to not go. I mean, it's up to you. But the thing is that I always hated the concept of one teacher explaining with the same speed to all the students. I always thought that learning is something that you should be able to do on your own. And when I was in third year, and there were certain topics like, say, scanline polygon fill algorithm or boundary fill algorithm, that I knew better than my batchmates, and I used to teach them on paper, I thought that what if I make a video, and then on their own speed, they can watch the video. And I started with one video, and this is what we are today. So this was 4 years back in college. I started with one video. Today we have 276 videos on the challenge. More than 12 to 13 lakh people have watched our videos. We have crossed 17,000 daily plus subscribers, and we recently got invited by YouTube for an event because we were one of the top educational channels from the country. By the way, my co-founder at Unacademy is sitting right in the audience, and his talk is 2 talks after this, Dr. Roman Saini. So he was my co-founder at this, and we started with, and we had a lot of failures. For the first 2 years, the channel was absolutely nothing. I used to upload, say, one video a month, teaching what I knew. And then we were always like, let's give it up, there is no point, let's do other things. But somehow you have to combine failure with persistence, because that's how you'll achieve if you want to become something big and not end up getting a job in Accenture or Infosys. So I urge you to think of that dream you thought at the beginning of this session, that what you always wanted to do, and what is that one actionable item that you can do today to make it happen. So this is Unacademy, and you can check out the channel on YouTube. Then write a novel. I wrote a small novella in school, and hardly 20 people read it, but maybe I will write another one soon. This is something that I have not done yet. And so starting a company. So while I was in, I told you I started Flat.to the first time I was in college, and it failed. So I was in Directi. That's when I thought that, see, this is some idea that I cannot give up. The idea was that you are sitting at JUIT and you have your own hostels. But I was studying in Mumbai at NMIMS as a computer engineer. And most of the colleges in Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and even Delhi, South Delhi area, student accommodation is a very big problem. Hostels are not there in each college, and people search out, people go to PGs, or people end up taking flats or something like that. So we wanted to solve that problem. And I left my job at Directi to start Flat.to. So what is Flat.to? It failed first time I did that in college. Then I took another year while I was working at Directi. I took permission from them that on weekends, I used my weekends while I was working to work on something that I really wanted to do. So most people tell you to quit jobs and start something. I am saying if you are not in a position to quit job or you think it's too early, let those thoughts be there. But at least start working during the weekends to do something that you have always wanted to do. So, and every day when we started the company, every day, from a team of 1 people, today we are a team of 20 people. Every day we had issues. Every day there were some failures. Every day there were some successes. But let me tell you, it's worth it. And then 1 year of Directi, I left my job and went full time into it. So, and then we kind of started getting media attention. We got covered from every newspaper in the country, be it Times of India, The Hindu, Hindustan Times, or whatever local newspapers are there. This is Deccan Chronicle, Bangalore. This is The Hindu. And then something happened in April 2014, like a few months back. Our company was acquired by India's largest real estate portal, India's fastest growing real estate portal, CommonFloor.com. CommonFloor.com is backed by the same investors who invested in Facebook. Tiger and Axel are the investors who also invested in Flipkart. So CommonFloor is the fastest growing company in real estate in the country, if you leave aside 99 acres and Magic Bricks. And this was started by 3 IITians 7 years back. So we got along and we started talking, and this was the company that acquired us. And after that also we have seen so much growth. When we were in 1 city, now we are in 8 cities. We are still running as an independent company, but now we are a part of CommonFloor.com. So when you were a kid, you always wanted to come in Bombay Times and all that stuff, whatever. So I got a chance to. This was the story, cover story that Economic Times carried on the day acquisition happened. So this was, and guess what? Had I stopped when I was in college, that Flat.to has failed, let's do a job which pays you ₹1,00,000 a month and be satisfied, I don't think this would have happened. So it is very important to fail and then persistently keep doing it. So now the 5th point I'll add to this is that the difference between that first step you take for your dreams is what makes all the difference. And if you don't take the first step, you never know what will get happen. So I want you to think, I want you to close your eyes. I know you won't, but still just make believe that you're closing your eyes and think anything that you want to do that lies out of your comfort zone. Be it asking that girl out you have been staring on Facebook for months, or be it when your friends are saying something that you don't like, you have to stand your ground and not just do what they are doing for the heck of it because you don't want to get any issues or hassles. That is something out of your comfort zone, or starting something new, be it a blog, be it a video, be it making a painting, be it writing a poem, whatever makes you happy, be it starting preparation for some examination, starting preparation for CAT, UPSC, any examination. Think about that and then give your brain 2 minutes. I can guarantee that it will come up with 10 excuses that why you shouldn't be doing that. So that's how our brain wired. Our brain wants us to be in the comfort zone always. But you have to, it will always come up with excuses. It will come up with 10 excuses. While I was giving the TED talk, it came up with 10 excuses like why am I giving the TED talk? What's the use out of it? Maybe you guys won't like what I'm speaking. Maybe I won't be one of the good speakers. Maybe the talk will go well. But you have to ask the brain to shut up. And you know what happens is, more than even our dream, if I want to start a blog, rather than putting resources into that, our brain makes us so confident about why we won't be able to do it. We become so confident. Okay, maybe it's too early for me to start a blog. Let me get some experience. Maybe right now is not the right time. Thousands of people are writing. Why will people read my blog? So we become so confident about the excuses itself than what we should be confident about taking the first step and doing something and failing and then doing it again. Next time when you are about to do something, question your excuses. If your brain says that the girl whom you're going to ask on coffee will reject you, Ask yourself, why do you think that? Because if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. So better ask, and if there is a slightest chance of yes, you might get this yes, or you'll get an awesome story to tell your friends. So that first step, the first small step is very, very, very important. If I want to start something, what is the smallest thing that I can do today? And let me tell you, you guys think that if we'll fail, the worst thing will happen to us. I have hit rock bottom couple of times. While I was starting my company, I had a very rough breakup. That was a rock bottom for me. I didn't know what to do, but I came out of it. I have had rock bottoms other times also when I was starting a lot of other things, but those didn't go as well as I wanted to do. But what is the worst thing that can happen? In the worst case, if you left your job and if you're following your dream, the worst case that will happen is you're back to your home and you're eating dinner with your parents. That's it. There will never be a case that you don't have money to eat food, that you don't have a place to live. The worst thing that can happen is that you're eating dinner with your parents and you're going out for drinks with your friends and have this awesome story to tell that how I started something and I failed. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. So think about it. So now I want you to go back to that one dream that you thought in the beginning of this lecture. I don't know, I don't want to know what it is. I don't want to know. And now I want you to ask yourself, what is the smallest thing you can do today to get closer to that dream? If I want to start a company, if I want to write something, what is the smallest thing that you can do today after this lecture or after the TED session when you go home? If I want to get into a major college, the first thing I need to do is research those 10 colleges on student. We are in that generation that every single information is available to us. We just have to go online, and instead of Facebook, Twitter, Google, no, nobody uses Google Plus, but instead of Facebook, Twitter, whatever you do, you have to go to the right platforms. And then once you figure out that, what is the smallest action that you can take that will bring you closer to that dream? How do I convert my dreams into actions? Just write, this is what I always wanted to do. This is what if I wanted to become a dancer since I was small, if I wanted to become a model since I was small, this is always I wanted to do. I'm not saying to quit your college, I'm not saying to stop doing your studies, but take out time. You have 24 hours. Stop going out for drinks, spend less time on WhatsApp, social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and devote that time into doing that small part of your dream. We live in a generation that we have so much platforms available to reach out. If I'm a singer, I can go to YouTube and start making videos. I know people like Shraddha Sharma, I know people like, even Jasleen was telling me yesterday that that's how she got popular, because she started through YouTube. There are people like Tiffany Alford in US who have become like these huge celebrities. YouTube is a big platform. Amazon, writing books for Kindle is a big platform. You need zero investment. Writing a blog, then consistently doing it will help you make money, will help you bring your own brand. So how will you convert your dreams into action? Today's generation provides the best platform to do that. And how I can make my dream into actionable dreams. This is one thought I want you to introspect after the TED session is over. So obviously every entrepreneur is a fan of Steve Jobs, so I'll just quote him, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. And this is how you can reach out to me. And don't give up, don't make excuses on why you shouldn't talk to me. Just do it. Thank you.